And panel, it's time now to meet our next set of challenges.
Number 1, what is your name?
My name is Kevin Barnes, and reusing aluminum is magical.
Number 2, what is your name?
My name is Kevin Barnes. The rainforest is a magical place.
Number 3, what is your name?
My name is Kevin Barnes, and recycling is magical.
Only one is the real Kevin Barnes and has sworn to tell the truth.
All right, we'll be right back. We'll find out which one of our gentlemen is the real Kevin Barnes and what his story is on To Tell the Truth.
Closed captioning is sponsored in part by
Tell the Truth. Welcome back to Tell the Truth, panel and audience. You know the way the game is played. 3 gentlemen here all claim to be the real Kevin Barnes. 2 are lying, and 1 has signed a statement swearing to tell the truth. Your job is to find out who it is. So please open up the affidavits that you have in front of you and follow along with me as I read the sworn testimony of the real Kevin Barnes. I, Kevin Barnes, am the magician with a message. By combining my magical talents with an environmental twist, I promote conservation in my Green Earth Magic Show. Specially designed props and illusions answer kids' questions on how to save electricity, water, and other natural resources. From my Las Vegas casino act to elementary school classrooms, thousands have learned how to play a part in cleaning up and preserving the world that we live in. By replacing abracadabra with my magical R's, reduce, reuse, recycle, I prove that everyone can make a difference. Signed, Kevin Barnes. Okay, panel and audience. All 3 of our tuxedo-clad gentlemen claim to be the real environmental magician. Which one is it? Meshach Taylor, the questioning begins with you.
Thank you, John. Number 1, you are a professional magician.
Correct.
Okay. Number 1, how did Houdini die?
He was punched in the stomach by a college kid, and he died of appendicitis.
Okay.
Halloween.
Number 2, who is Ricky Jay?
Ricky J.
Ricky Jay.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Number 3, who is the Monte Carlo Hotel's resident magician?
That is Lance Burton.
All right. Number 3, who is the amazing Randy?
He does magic with cards and mind reading.
Number 1, do you know who Ricky Jay is?
All right, Paula Poundstone.
Number 1, what should you do with plastic six-pack rings and why?
They should be recycled because they're bad for the environment. They can choke little animals.
Number 2, what should you do with plastic six-pack rings?
You should cut them so that they won't choke little animals.
Number 3, why do magicians hate my cousin?
That's, we'd rather not talk about that.
Do you know who my cousin is, number 3?
No, I do not.
Number 2, do you know who William Poundstone is and why a magician would hate him?
I'm not at liberty to discuss.
Number 1, how much trash does the average person generate each day?
About half a grocery bag full.
Number 3, how much trash does the average person generate each day?
Probably about a half a bag.
All right. Jason, on you.
Number 1, how do you do that trick with the ball there? How do you do that?
I'm sworn to secrecy.
That's a good answer. Okay. Number 2, what was the first magic trick you ever learned?
The ball and cups.
The ball and cups.
Cups.
Number 2, what was one of the tricks that you designed for your environmental show specifically?
That would be the disappearing water.
And number 3, what casino do you work at in Las Vegas, out of?
I performed at the Excalibur, but currently I do parties at various casinos.
All right. Cindy Margolis.
Number 1, the pressure they're giving me, John. Okay, number 1, name the most famous magicians in Vegas right now.
There's Lance Burton, Siegfried and Roy, Showgirls of Magic.
Okay, number 2, where does Siegfried and Roy perform?
At the Mirage.
Okay, number 3, what is the Vegas hotel with a roller coaster inside?
Inside.
Mm-hmm. Number 1, do you know that?
I think that's New York, New York.
Okay, number 2, what hotel is next to the MGM?
Next to the
MGM.
The MGM.
side.
Love your mother and you know Vegas.
That's a girl who knows her Vegas hotels. The bell is sounded. Time is up. Time for our celebrity panel to lock in their votes without discussion. Is it number 1, number 2, or number 3? And now I'll ask our audience here to cast their votes as well. And while they're doing that, I'll remind you we're going to pay our team of challengers $1,000 for every incorrect vote. We're going to be right back, and we're going to find out how everybody voted and who the real environmental magician is right here on To Tell the Truth. Welcome back to Tell the Truth. One of our challengers is the real environmental magician, Kevin Barnes. We're going to pay $1,000 for every incorrect vote. Vishak, on to you. Who did you vote for?
Thank you, John. Well, I tell you, the Amazing Randy, when I asked number 3 about him, Amazing Randy is a magician, but his big thing is debunking psychics and people who are putting up fake magic things. And he shows you how they do it. So he didn't know that. And number 2 was very good, but number 1, I think he had the information about Houdini, and I was just getting ready to ask him about a friend of mine named Ricky J, who does this amazing magic thing called cards as weapons. And so I think it's number 1.
All right. Paula Poundstone.
Everybody hates my cousin.
Who is your cousin?
Why is that? Tell us a story.
My cousin's name is William Poundstone, and he wrote a book called Big Secrets, and in which he explodes secrets, and a number of them were magicians' secrets. So he was
a jerk.
Now I hate your cousin.
So he was not held in high regard by the magicians. Yeah, but what he did to Colonel Saunders was so great. I don't have any idea. Number 2 was right that you have to cut up the 6-pack rings, not just enough to recycle number 1. And yet, at the same time, number 3 looks like a guy who would simply care.
You're not usually that compassionate. I'm taken aback a little bit by that. Jason Kravitz, on to you.
It was between number 2 and number 1, and I just didn't know, except I figure if I vote for number 1, maybe he'll show me how to do that little ball trick. And I actually wrote down number 2, but I magically changed it with my marker to number 1. And there you have it.
All right. Cindy, for whom did you vote?
Okay, well, it was pretty tough. But I'll have to say, it will be magic if I actually get this right. So I went with the one who I thought might not be right, but he had the most information. But the most important thing is my little hat with the rabbit. Yeah. Number 1.
Oh, very good. Very good, very good. Appreciate that. Time now to find out how our audience voted. Also for number 1. They seem to see something there. We'll find out if they're right. It's time now to find out which one of our players is the real environmental magician. Will the real Kevin Barnes please stand up? Very good. Have a seat. Kevin, we'll come back to you. Well, our team of imposters certainly did a nice job. Number 1, you got 4 votes there. Good for you. Who are you and what do you do?
I'm Jeff Black. I'm a legal assistant.
Oh,
well, you convinced me you were a magician. Number 2, you did a nice job. Who are you and what do you do?
Thank you. My name is Wayne Visakis, and I'm regional sales manager for Santa Barbara Pistachio Company.
All right. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you being with us. So, Kevin, there are certain tricks that you've designed specifically for the show that you've...
Yes. One, I make a child disappear except for their head, and explain if we don't take care of our planet, we could be the next disappearing species.
Well, that's a great message. A wonderful way to use the magic that you've learned. Thank you very much for being with us. You have 4 incorrect votes, $4,000 split among our team of 3 challengers. That brings us to the end of another To Tell the Truth. Meshach Taylor, I salute you. Paula, I love you. Jason, thank you for being with us. And also to Cindy. John O'Hurley saying, I'll see you next time right here on To Tell the Truth. War.com.